welcome to another episode of the Today Titletown Packers Podcast. My name is Griffin. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at AllDayPackers. And I'm joined, as always, by my good friend Bron, who you can follow on Instagram at Lambo.Leapers. We're coming back to you off of another week in the NFL that the Packers did not play in because they are the number one seed in the NFC, and they didn't have to play this week, but we've got the San Francisco 49ers coming to town this Saturday. Fun weekend of football we had, a lot of blowouts, but a couple really good games, and it's going to be fun. We got a Dominique Dafney interview coming up later in this podcast, so stick around for that. That was really fun. Dom's a great guy, and he offers great insight into the Packers locker room, so stick around for that. We're happy to be here. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Big game coming up. Bron, how are you?
I'm good, Griff, and this is the show Today in Titletown. Come for our incorrect game predictions, but stay for our interviews with players, and that's what we're going to do here today, and it's a lot of fun. So enjoy that, folks, and look, we won this weekend because we automatically advanced to the divisional round.
Packers advanced to the divisional round, that's right.
We won in the wildcard weekend, and we didn't even have to play. So, welcome to football, baby. The Packers are the number one seed. Get excited, people.
I mean, I can't even remember your predictions last week. If you didn't listen to last week's show, we did a whole predictions episode predicting every game of the wildcard weekend. I can't remember what you predicted. I didn't do too shabby, though. I know you wanted so bad to pick the Steelers to beat the Chiefs. I don't know why, but you were really pulling for the Steelers there.
Hey, guess who got the lead though? Steelers got the lead.
Yeah, they had the lead for
Hey, they were up 7-0. They were up 7-0 in the second quarter. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, what was the final score? I stopped watching.
I know.
I knew I would stop watching that one too. I knew I would stop watching.
It was closer to a bowling score for the Chiefs than anything else. They almost threw a perfect 300 that game. I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah. Well,
I think they ended up with 243 points.
The quarterbacks this weekend were absurd, not including Tom Brady. Obviously, we would never talk positively about him on this show, but we got Josh Allen looking like an animal out there in the 5-degree weather. Patrick Mahomes looking like his 2019 self out of nowhere in that game. He looked great.
Tom Brady, I have to say, Tom Brady did look like an animal out there, but he just looked more like a wounded gazelle than anything else to me.
Yeah, well, that's enough Tom Brady talk. Maybe we'll be talking about him next week. I don't know, but anyways.
Ooh, NFC Championship, maybe.
A rematch. Well, we could exercise our demons here. And by the way, I posted about the Packers exercising their demons on my Instagram today. Spelled exercise wrong. Don't know if you noticed that. 2 different words there. Didn't know that. Exercise.
And then I sent him a picture of like ghosts working out.
Yeah,
in response to that.
Demons. Yeah, that was funny. I don't think anyone commented about it, so
I was the one who I told you. I was like, unfortunately, Griff, that's not correct.
And it's funny because I spell checked exercise about 2 or 3 times before I posted it. Little did I know it's completely different.
You mean
word.
like you had to spell check exercise, like as in like working out?
Yes, yeah. I don't want to make a mistake. I had it right. But, then you text me exercise with an O, and I'm like, is this guy dumb? No, it's not. I spell check. It's a different word.
I can't believe you had to spell check exercise. Like that's some kind of uncommon word.
It's a tough word, man. I don't know. Maybe there's a Z in there. Size. I don't know.
Exercise with a Z.
Let's talk about football here. Cowboys 49ers yesterday. That was a really fun game. Wild ending. What do you think of the play call there, Bron? We asked Dominique Dafney about this play call. He had a hot take about this play call, I think. I don't know. What did you think about the play call? I thought it was dumb.
Okay, it's dumb in hindsight, Griff, but I thought it was a decent play call at the time because they got in position. If they execute the spike, they got a chance to win the game from like the 25, 30-yard line, right? I don't think it's the worst play call. The execution was poor. Obviously they have to do a better job of getting the ball in the referee's hands. You watch Green Bay when they get in these positions, every single week, the first thing they do, and many other teams too, but Green Bay specifically, they're handing the ball to the referee every time. They look for the referee. That's what these teams do. The Cowboys, for whatever reason, decided to spot the ball themselves.
Yeah, Dak spotted it himself.
And rely on the referee's cardio to hopefully get there in time as the clock ticked down to 0. I mean, they got what they asked for. I certainly don't have any sadness for the Jets of the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys.
Jets of the NFC?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Mike McCarthy? How can you say that about Mike McCarthy, bro? That's your guy. That's your guy right there.
I'm not. That's nothing to do with him. They've been the Jets of the NFC since how long? 30 years now?
Yeah, long time. I was wondering, when's the last time they won a playoff game? I literally can't remember the last time they won a playoff game. It's happened recently, I know that, because I think they beat the Seahawks in 2018. I don't know. Who cares? Anyways, 49ers are coming to Green Bay. Just listen to the Dominique Dafney interview, by the way, because he talks about the Green Bay's process when it comes to handing the ball to the ref.
Griff, if they're here already, they're going to listen to Dominique Dafney talk. They barely want to hear us talk. I'm sure they only came here for him. They don't want to hear us.
You're probably right, sadly. But hey, man, thanks for listening to us. If you're 7 minutes into this podcast and you're only here for Daphne, we appreciate it. Let's talk about this 49ers game, Bron, because God, am I nervous. I'm sure you're going to play the I'm not nervous. We got this. Packers best team in the league. But
you know me too well.
I do know you too well. But come on, man. The 49ers, they got some playmakers. What are your thoughts going into this game, buddy?
You know, I'm not nervous, honestly. Everybody's all crying and they're sitting in the corner of their house all shivering and shaking and nervous, and I'm just sitting here like, we do remember we beat this football team with much less than we've got now, health-wise, roster-wise, and the 49ers are banged up. We are the healthiest team in the National Football League, Griff. The 49ers are probably the least healthy team. Jimmy Garoppolo's got a shoulder strain. He's also been dealing with a thumb strain. He's going to be playing in the cold. He's not a good quarterback in the warm weather. He's going to be playing in the cold Lambeau weather against one of the good defenses in the NFC remaining, which is the Green Bay Packers. Good linebackers. Jair will be back to complete our secondary. The pass rush is going to be absolutely awesome with the return of Whitney Merciless and Zadarius Smith. We are ready. We are so ready. The 49ers feel like a stepping stone to me because they're a good enough team to beat and feel really good about it. We also lost to them in the NFC Championship in 2019, yes, and that's just enough to fuel us, to keep us on our toes, because they ran all over us last time. We're going to stop the run because we're going to be going into the game knowing they're going to want to run the ball, and even if they don't run the ball like we think they will, they're not going to be able to pass it with Jimmy G in the freezing cold. I feel very, very good about this game. I feel like we could win by double digits.
I know you do. One of my favorite things to do real quick is whenever the weather gets cold, whenever we're having a home game against like a big game against a quarterback from warm weather state, I love one of my favorite research studies to do is go through all of his games and see how he performs in games below 32 degrees. I have to do that for Jimmy this week. Don't steal that from me, by the way. Or any other pages listening to this, don't do that because that's.
I don't know. You know what? It would have been great if you had that prepared for our podcast. We do a weekly podcast. That would have been something good.
I could have had it ready here. Yeah, I guess I could have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you, man. It feels like whenever we come into these games where everyone's worried about the run game, like Dalvin Cook 2 weeks ago and Derrick Henry last year, it seems like as of late we've been ready to bottle up the run game. We don't have Mike Pettin anymore. Obviously, Mike Pettin could not care less about the run game, but Joe Barry, this team has done a much better job at that. And you're right, you said it, Whitney Merciless is coming back, along with Zadarius Smith. And Whitney Merciless, that's just insane, because he goes out, week 7, week 8? I think it was week 7 he's out for the year, and it was kind of like, wow, that sucks. Whitney Merciless, he gets signed off the street, free agent, veteran, and he's played so well for us, and now he's out for the year. I think you cried, Bron. Did you cry? I know you were really beat up about it. But now he's back.
I did not cry. I like you just slipped that in there.
Cried.
You just slipped that in there like I shed tears for a injury. No, but you know what? I was very pleased to have the fact that now he's back. I was disappointed that he was going to be out after we signed him, and I love that signing because he's such a great addition to the locker room. Obviously, what he was doing on the field was more than we could have imagined for us. Just his pass rush he's a veteran. He's a pro. He's one of the great guys in this league, on and off the field. And now to have him back, it's just another boost to the roster, to the pass rush, to the locker room, all of the above. So it's great to have him back. And I cried when he came back, that's for sure. I shed many tears.
I know you did. It was like WWE moment when he comes back. Rob Domofsky tweets, "Here's a surprise: Whitney Merciless on the practice field last Wednesday." Like, what? Whitney Merciless? Am I reading this right? Because the entire year in the back of my mind, Whitney Merciless is out for the season. He's not coming back this year, but he's coming back. That's kind of crazy, but we're happy to have him back, and we really need him for this playoff run. It kind of just adds to the guys who are coming back, which we talk about every single week. We've got Jair, who's been practicing for a month. Zadarius is coming back. Whitney Merciless now. David Bakhtiari's back. Josh Myers is back. This is the real Packers team, and they've won 13 games. Bill Turner's going to be back. Randall Cobb's going to be back. This is the Packers team that has won 13 games without most of these guys for a lot of games this season, and this is just awesome, man. I'm so excited, and I hope I'm not getting too excited because Oh, God, man, the 49ers scare me. Here's the theme of this podcast. The broader theme of this podcast is going to be me talking about what scares me about the San Francisco 49ers and you calling me a madman for worrying about these things. But here we go. So, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo is probably a bad quarterback. He's probably a worse version of Kirk Cousins, but when you've got those playmakers on the field, like, that is a lot of ground to cover for the Packers defense, man. I don't know. We did it in week 3. We did a pretty good job of slowing them down. And do you remember this week 2 podcast, Bron? Because we were both very, very worried about that week 3 game.
I was pessimistic, to say the least, about our chances.
We both were very pessimistic. We were coming off a Monday Night Football win against the Lions, and we had just 2 weeks ago been blown out by the Saints. So we weren't too optimistic, and we thought the 49ers were going to be a lot better than they were. But we played really well that game, and we were able to bottle up Jimmy. That was in San Francisco, so maybe we're going to be able to do that again. But I don't know, man. This team looks scary. And they kind of tapered off in the second half against Dallas. But in that first half, when they were just going up and down the field on them, it was like, oh my God, this feels like the 2019 NFC Championship game. But go ahead, Bron, tell me why I'm crazy.
Griff, do you understand we beat this team in their place already without half our roster that we've got now?
By the hair on my chinny chin chin.
We were up 17-0 against them. Do you remember the Eric Stokes?
Yes.
Do you remember the phantom pass interference call against Eric Stokes?
There was a lot of phantom calls in that game, which were ridiculous.
They had no business getting back in that football game, Griff. We were blowing them out, and then all these little things happened that just balled up, and that's how they got back in the game. But guess what? We still won, and now it's going to be in the cold. We're the number 1 seed, Griff. We are better than this football team by a long shot. I don't understand. I do not understand.
And we're well rested.
We're well rested. We're rejuvenated, and we're ready.
Well, don't get me wrong. I think we're going to win. And what's the spread?
Oh, okay. But you're scared.
I'm scared.
How are you scared?
It's a playoff game.
We are the winners.
My heart has been broken so many times.
They're scared of us. They're scared of us.
Yeah. Well, okay. Their fans are scared of us, maybe. I don't think the team itself is scared of us.
You don't think Jimmy G is shaking in his boots right now?
He might
worrying
be
that he's got 20 degrees on his... Jimmy G is going to be freezing. Did I say Jimmy B?
I said Jimmy B.
Oh, you are an idiot. Anyway, Jimmy B is seriously though. Jimmy G's he doesn't play in the cold. You know what? He played in the cold once. Oh wait, it was for New England. Oh wait, he only took 3 snaps and they were all kneels. He kneeled 3 times.
Wait,
he has not played in the cold.
You have these stats about the cold?
Yes, I have the stats, buddy. Don't steal it from me now.
How'd you get these?
Yeah, I got them, baby. Don't you worry about it. We're going to win this whole thing, buddy. I am excited. We're going to the Super Bowl. I can see it now. And I tell Dominique something similar late in the show. We are going to the Super Bowl. You know that, Griff?
I think you straight up asked him if we were going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, I did. And hear his response later in the show.
Oh, man. I don't know. This is similar to last year, because I remember last year we were playing the Rams in the divisional round. Were they the 6th seed? Probably. They had just beaten the Seahawks, and it was like, their quarterback sucks. He's probably not very good, but that defense is good, and they've got playmakers. And I was nervous, and you were like, Griff, we're the 1 seed. We're going to run right by him. Sean McVay sucks. And I was like, yeah, but...
Okay, that's a little much. I didn't say that.
in the same vein as that.
No, it's literally the same idea,
It
Griff.
is very similar to last year.
Also, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, you know how bad Matt LaFleur wants to beat this guy? They are not friends, buddy. They are not friends, let me tell you. They are not friends. I'm breaking some news here. Actually, I have no insight on that at all, but I just...
have zero insight.
I really don't think they're friends. They are icy, man. I feel like they are... you know what it is? When Kyle tried to get Aaron, or call Aaron, Matt LaFleur was done.
Yep, done.
And that's why now Matt LaFleur really doesn't talk about Kyle as his friend. They don't talk now during the season.
They don't shake hands.
They didn't shake hands. They didn't shake hands in Week 3 when Matt LaFleur ripped his heart out, and they're probably not going to do it again when Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Devondre Campbell, Rasul Douglas, Jair Alexander, Zadarius Smith, when they all come and do it again.
You know, you forgot Kenny Clark there, which reminds me that...
Do you want me to name the whole 53? Name all the players right now. Dominique Dafney, Kenny Clark.
You forgot Dom Daphne, bro. Come on,
How could I? Do it all Daphne, man. How could I forget it? I don't know. But look, I'm excited. Why everybody's all nervous?
Okay.
I'm excited. I am thrilled. I know we're going to win this game. Griff, look at all the games that happened this weekend. What happened? The team that was better won the game. We're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I am not worried.
Yeah,
Everybody
me neither.
needs to stop worrying and forget the past. Yes, have they beaten us in the playoffs 3 times?
3 times. 0
Yes.
wins, Aaron Rodgers. 0 wins.
The only time that 2 of those were in the warm weather, and the other was with Colin Kaepernick from Wisconsin, used to the warm weather, running all over us, and he's not there anymore. Everybody needs to calm down. This past will not dictate our present. We are ready.
I agree with that. That 2019 team also was not very good. Like that.
We
team
have
was
a
just-
much different roster now.
Team is much better now. And
Think about the superstars we have that are playing so well that we didn't have that time around. Different defensive coordinator as well. And Rodgers playing on a different level.
yeah, different MVP Rodgers. MVP Rodgers is 2-0 against San Fran these past 2 seasons. Because remember last year, that Thursday night game, they didn't have any players that game, but Rodgers ran right through them. And that was in California. So, yeah, I agree with you. You know, I'm nervous only because it's a Packers playoff game against the 49ers. My first season watching football, 2013, I was only like half watching, but I remember that playoff game so well. It was pretty upsetting. But, you know, I'm nervous about that. And obviously the 2019 NFC Championship game, that one has me scarred. But, you know, I agree. There's no reason that the Packers shouldn't win this game. They're the better team. They've played like the better team all season long. And we have a better quarterback. It's just, honestly, it might be that simple. Because Jimmy G was trying to give that game away late in the game against Dallas. Rodgers doesn't do that. It's like, Rodgers doesn't, he just wins games. He wins games. He doesn't try to give the game away like that.
He doesn't turn the ball over, Griff. He doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, they don't give away possessions like that.
They don't. I don't remember the last time somebody fumbled. I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
when's the last time someone fumbled, man?
First of all, he has 0 fumbles this year, if I'm correct. At least none recovered by the defense. Maybe 1 that was recovered by us, but he has none. I'm pretty sure none
he had
lost.
1 against Minnesota.
But didn't lose it, right?
Didn't lose it, yeah.
Right, okay, so the other thing I want to talk about, the most important thing, the only way that we could possibly lose this game, if you ask me, is if we commit penalties, commit turnovers, and what's the other thing I had in mind? Just do things like to make us make our own mistakes, shoot ourselves in the foot. The only team that can beat us is us. And we did that against the Bucs. Uncharacteristic mistakes. We dropped picks. We had stupid play calls on defense and offense. The penalties. If we don't commit penalties like we haven't all year, if we don't turn the ball over like we haven't all year, if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we're going to win every game. We're going to win every game. We are 2 wins away from the Super Bowl at home, and then we go to the Super Bowl, and we're going to beat a team that's probably not as good as Tampa Bay. And that's what's going to happen. If we do what we do on a week-to-week basis to the tune of 13 wins this year, we are going to win the Super Bowl. And that's all there is to it. And we've got 13 wins this year. We went 13-3, not including that false Lions game. 13-3 this year. We just need to do this 3 more times against teams that are not as talented, not as good, not as well coached, not as strong of a contender for this Super Bowl as us. And if we do that 3 more times, 13 times we've done it, 3 more, we will be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy over our heads, and it will be the most glorious thing you've ever seen. No thoughts on that, Griff?
Oh my God, I was on mute. No thoughts on that, Griff. That was inspirational, Coach Bron. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree. This is our first obstacle on a long postseason on the way to our destiny. And obviously, what my post earlier today was about exercising our demons. Them working out, getting on the treadmill. It was, we lose to San Fran in the 2019 NFC Championship game. We're going to play them this Saturday. And then there's a good chance. I mean, this game is on right now, Cardinals and Rams. Don't know who's winning. We gotta wrap this up so we can watch this game.
Rams up 7-0.
Oh, I picked the Rams.
I picked the Rams also. Wait, did you pick the Rams?
I did pick the Rams, yes.
Okay, yeah, I think the Rams win. Odell caught another touchdown.
Wow.
But just wait until Matt Stafford throws a pick and he's got to make a tackle. That'll be rough.
Yeah. Anyways, the winner of this game is going to Tampa Bay. I'm picking Tampa Bay in that game, most likely, either team. So there's a good chance that next week, if we win this game against Niners, then we're going to be playing Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game, a rematch at Lambeau Field, which will be nice because LaFleur will be able to exercise his demons, get both of those monkeys off his back. The loss to Tampa Bay, the loss to San Fran, all in one postseason. And then I don't know who's the ideal Super Bowl matchup for that poetic justice there. There's not really an AFC team that's had his number.
Well, you know who it is. It's the Kansas City Chiefs to redo Super Bowl I. That's probably it.
We won Super Bowl I.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the best I got.
Okay, we did lose to Kansas City. That could be like, I don't know.
Yeah, we lost with Jordan Love by 7.
Yeah,
so.
this storyline kind of ends in the NFC, but
Did we wait? What did we lose by 6? I think we lost by 6. In that game.
13-7, so 6.
Well, no, I mean now we're gonna keep saying exercise your demons because of whatever. Griff's got a thing for that, I guess. But once we exercise our demons and hit the gym one more time, then by the time the Super Bowl rolls around, we'll be past our demons and ready to just focus on ourselves and ready to go win the Super Bowl. I mean, who are we? All right, let's win this game. Let's win this game. Let's talk about it, Griff. Let's win this game.
Yeah, let's talk about this defense. I'm not going to say scares me because you're going to go off on me, but it is a very talented defense. Fred Warner would never wish injury upon anyone, but I was hoping he'd be out for this game. He's not going to be out for this game. He's going to be playing in it. Same with Nick Bosa, it looks like. So they've got a very talented front, and I mean, if anything has been able to stop the Packers in these past few seasons, it's been very talented fronts on defense, including the 49ers in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. So that's something where if we're trying to run the ball into a brick wall over and over again, that could be a problem. But I think with the O-line being as healthy as it's going to be, and it hasn't been that healthy in so long, I think we're going to see more success in the ground game than we're used to seeing. And then, you got Rodgers who's able to cover up defenses, so maybe that won't be a problem for him. David Bakhtiari back at left tackle. So I just kind of debunked my own theory there that the talented front could be a problem, but it could be a problem. They've got a very talented defensive line and very athletic, talented linebackers. Fred Warner, one of the best in the game. So that's something to look out for, but I think the Packers are going to have it ready. You're right, man. The Packers are going to win this game. What are we even previewing this for? The Packers are going to win.
I don't know. This feels like, first of all, I look at the Niners secondary, and they're not impressive. Who do they even have? Like, who's that guy that's going to stop Devontae? I don't see it. I do not see a player that's going to lock down Devontae Adams. It's just they don't have those guys. They don't have the personnel to match what we can do on offense with Aaron and Devontae. Plus, Randall Cobb's return. The offensive line is back at almost full strength. If we get David out there at left tackle, we're not going to have Elton, obviously, and that sucks to lose him because he's so important. But we're going to have David. We're going to have, hopefully, it looks like we're going to have Bill out there. And if not, Dennis Kelly's played well. Even Yash, like whatever goes on, like we've played well this year. We've been in a good position. I don't know what the Niners can do. Nick, you have to look at the guys that they've got hurt. Fred Warner on a hurt ankle. This is a human game. Just because they play does not mean they're 100%, and it does not mean that they will play at their best. Nick Bosa got crunched in that game, and I was surprised. I'm surprised and impressed that he's going to be able to play through it. That concussion or whatever. I thought it was even a back and a neck situation. It looked bad, but here he is. He's going to play, but that doesn't mean he's going to be his 100% health. These guys are coming off a really, really tough game. They won at the last second. I mean, it's a tough game, and it's going to be a slight short week. They played on Sunday, and they got to come to Lambeau for a Saturday night game. It's a slight short week, but they're not at 100%. Jimmy Garoppolo's shoulder is really banged up. His thumb was banged up beforehand. Like I said, all this in the cold for a team that's been playing in the warm weather for about 10, all season. They haven't played a cold weather game yet this year. I don't even remember the last time they played a cold weather game. This is a legitimate thing. They are not in a good position. It's just going to be really interesting to see how we go about it, but I like our chances in many ways.
Jimmy G quarterbacking on the other side gives me more confidence than anything else in this game because he is a worse Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins himself is not very good when you're trying to win ball games. And we saw it on Sunday, man. Jimmy G, he's just not a great quarterback, and he can put the ball where it needs to go, but if you give him tight windows, if you put him under pressure, he kind of freaks out and doesn't really know what to do. So that should be goal number one for the Packers defense, is stopping the run, getting a lead earlier, which we talked about all last season. That was like every single preview game we were talking about, getting the lead early, electing to receive the kickoff, getting a lead early so we could force these teams to pass on us and not run on us, because that was such a kryptonite for us in years past. But this year we're bottling up the run game better than we were. But the same game plan goes here, because if 49ers, if they kind of take control of the game and they're able to run on us, that's not ideal. So we need to be able to get the lead, first of all, and also stop the run early to force Jimmy G to have to throw it. Because as soon as we force Jimmy G to have to throw it, he's going to be throwing balls to Devondre Campbell. And Devondre Campbell's going to catch him. Rasul Douglas is going to catch it and take it for a touchdown. So as long as we just don't let them play within their game plan, which they were able to do against Dallas pretty much the entire first half, most of the third quarter, until Dallas started to come back. They were just playing within their game plan. They were running the ball well. They were play-actioning well off of that. And Jimmy G had these easy dink and dunk throws. Even down the field, they were just easy throws. If we take away the run game, take away these easy passes, give him some tight windows, put him under pressure with Whitney Merciless coming back and Zadarius Smith and Kenny Clark and Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary, I mean, that might be enough to win the game alone, no matter how the offense performs.
Yeah, Griff, it's exciting. I feel like we're in a really good spot. Yeah, I mean, how much more is there to say, really? We've outlined why we think we're going to end up winning this football game. How devastating would it be for that not to be the outcome? I can't even imagine, because we've got plans much beyond this week and even obviously beyond the NFC Championship game, and anything less than that is a failure entirely, because of what position we're in and what we want to do, and obviously the quarterback we have, the receiver we have, the uncertainty surrounding everything. So, yes, we need to win this game. This is one step closer. We got 3 more to go. 3 more to go. And this is one step, and we've got it's not going to be easy, but I feel really good about our chances with the guys we've got out there. And this is a great opportunity for us to really start gelling with our full roster back at full health. Hopefully there's no rust factor with these guys, because we do have a significant number of guys coming back and playing significant snaps. So hopefully that's not an issue. Hopefully, obviously the bye week, the rest that they've got, between the second half and then a week of not playing and now another week of just practice for this game. Hopefully all of that stuff, we can overcome just about any type of adversity that we've got and win this game, because it is truly the definition of a must-win football game.
Let's pick these games here. So last week, I mean, neither of us did great. You picked the Bengals. I picked the Bengals as well. I think you picked the Raiders to cover the spread. That did not hit for you, but I picked the Bengals to cover the spread. So you picked the Bills. I picked the Patriots. That was error by me. They didn't have a chance in that game. Bill Belichick, why would you do this? But you picked the Bills, so you get that one. We both picked the Bucks. Obviously, they beat the Eagles. You wanted the Eagles. You almost wanted to pick the Eagles. I know you did. The 49ers.
That was a mistake, yeah.
I think you went with Dallas, because remember I said that I don't trust Mike McCarthy. Wow, that kind of aged well, didn't it? I said I don't trust Mike McCarthy.
Well, it depends. Right. I mean, you're a Mike McCarthy hater.
It
so
depends who you're asking, yeah. But you were like, just because of that, I'm going to pick the Cowboys. You picked the Cowboys there. We both picked the Chiefs. You wanted to pick the Steelers so bad.
I did, because they got out to a 7-0 lead, and then they blew it.
So we obviously don't know which one of these teams, the Cardinals or Rams, are going to be going to Tampa Bay, but let's try to pick these divisional playoffs, and then we'll get to the Daphne interview, which is what we're all here for. MVP of the team, some are saying, Dominique Dafney. Stick around for that, but real quick, we've got Bengals-Titans on CBS at 4:30 on Saturday. That's going to be a good game. Yeah, what do you think the spread is in that game? Remember, it's in Tennessee.
Are you having me guess here? You're going to have me guess
what do you think the spread is, yeah?
I'm going to go with -4.
-3.5, Titans are
okay,
favored.
that was... Yeah, you know why?
Why?
Because, like you said last week, for those who listened to last week's episode, the home field advantage gives you 3 points, and then it is a toss-up after that almost. The 3.5 gives it... it really is that toss-up factor with Tennessee slightly favored. Yeah. So, I mean, you look at that game, Derrick Henry's return is pretty big for that. I think this is going to be a really good game, but the problem is these might be the third and fourth best teams in the AFC. That's possible.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, but I am going with the Bengals. I just feel like Tennessee, I don't know. I feel like the Bengals are hot, and they're probably better, but it's going to be a close game. I never liked the Titans this year. I really never liked them much.
I never liked them, man. They're the number 1 seed, and it's like, how? How are they
I don't think they're very. I don't think they're very good. Yeah, I don't think they're very good.
I don't know.
I have no idea. Run the ball when Derrick Henry's there, but
they're well coached. They're sound in their fundamentals, but they really don't have that identity. They've had so many injuries this year; they haven't been able to have one, arguably. But they even with AJ Brown back and Derrick Henry back, I don't know. I think the Bengals are going to just throw it over the top, and I think they're going to find success there. So you're taking the Bengals to win straight up, because I am.
I am also, but I'm gonna that in that case they with the spread as well. I take them, so yeah, I'm taking them to win the game.
So obviously, 8:15 on Fox, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. It's gonna be a good game. This is let's see, these are the San Francisco 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. Ooh, that's gonna be.
Well, I don't know much about the Packers, but
okay, what do you think the spread is here? I think you've already seen it.
I've seen the spread is -5.5, -5.5.
5.5. Yep.
That feels about right.
That feels about right, right?
Yeah.
You think Packers cover that?
Yeah, I think we're gonna win by probably. I sound like an idiot when I say like, oh, we're gonna win by double digits, but like I feel like we will. I feel like
10.
we're gonna set the tone.
Yeah,
it's not.
I think we're gonna cover that.
We're gonna set the tone. We're gonna set the tone with this win, propel us into the NFC Championship where we want it to be a different outcome against probably the Bucks. We need to do this. This is a tone-setting game. We need to win, but we need to do it in a way that makes us feel like we are the buzzsaw that teams are going to have trouble getting through.
And that's what happened against the Rams last year, man. That was a blowout win. Everyone thought it was going to be close. Some people were picking the upset with the Rams, but it ended up we just blew them out of the water. And that defense, I mean, there were so many stats about how they hadn't allowed a 300-yard passer, they haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher, 150-yard rusher, something like that. And we crossed both of those numbers, and we just ran right by them and just proved that we are the team to beat. And then we got beaten the next week. But this feels like it could be another one of those games, you know. Plus, that game last year against the Rams, it was Kevin Burkhardt and Charles Davis on commentary. Ugh. Doesn't that give you a real big game feel? No. This one's going to be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman most likely. Did you see Troy Aikman during the Bucs-Eagles game? Joe Buck's like, we got 49ers-Cowboys coming up. That's going to be a great game. And Troy Aikman's like, yeah, it's going to be a great game. There's a lot of people who would like to be calling that game.
Yeah.
So funny.
Because he was in the middle of a snooze fest.
He was so bored, man. I was like, 49ers-Cowboys, that is the most Joe Buck, Troy Aikman game of all time. That is like, this is Fox afternoon slot. No idea why that was on CBS. Because CBS, I don't know if you knew this, Bron. CBS has the AFC package. Fox has the NFC package. Did you know that?
I do know that. Yes, okay. I did.
I didn't know if you knew that. I learned that in the Joe Buck biography, which I read in 9th grade. I love Joe Buck.
What was it called?
It's called Lucky Bastard.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't think I ever finished it, but I read a lot of it, and I learned that. Okay, so anyways, you think Packers going to cover that spread 5.5. So this leaves us with Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on CBS. Bills at Chiefs. That's going to be such a good game, man.
That is a toss-up.
What do you I'm interested in who you pick. I'm interested in what you think the spread is and who's favored.
Okay, the spread's got to be -3, or maybe Kansas City's going to get. I'm going to say -4.5.
Kansas City -4.5.
Yeah.
Wow, it's Kansas City -2.5.
Whoa!
You know what that means?
That means Buffalo's the favorite if there was in a neutral field?
Yeah, on a neutral field, Buffalo's favored by half a point.
Whoa.
Well, I don't know, though. I don't know how much these bookies are factoring in home field advantage this year, because I think road teams have won just as much as they did last year.
Oh, they always. I mean,
but if you thought the spread would be 4.5, that means you got to hammer Kansas City here, right?
I don't know. That's what I thought it would be, because everybody's like, "Oh, Kansas City is the greatest thing to ever happen to this earth." So that's why. That's why I assumed it was them. But I don't know. Okay, who are you picking? Because that is a tough one for me.
This is such a tough one, man. The spread almost doesn't matter. 2.5 is like.
You know what? I am picking the Bills because I don't think that Kansas City is that good. I think they're pretty fraudulent, if you ask me. They play bad at times. They played bad to start the Steelers game. I don't know. I just don't buy Kansas City. I'm going with the Bills, even though that's probably incorrect. I'm going with the Bills anyway.
You going with the Bills? I want to. I really want to. Man, Josh Allen, he was insane, man. He was just absurd on that Saturday night game against the Bill Belichick defense. It looked like they weren't even out there. It was crazy. Threw more touchdowns than incompletions. They ended every series with a touchdown or kneel down. It was insane. But also, Patrick Mahomes last night looked like 2019 Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't quite looked like that all season.
He had a good game. That was a really good game.
He was dropping dimes, bro. On the run, to his left. He looked like the unicorn that he was when he first got into the league. So, I don't know, man. This is going to be a really good game. This is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be closer because, remember, in the playoffs last year, the Chiefs blew them out. But earlier this season, can't remember what week that was, but the Bills blew them out. I think it's going to be much closer than that, which is why the spread is only 2.5. But I'm going to... Oh, I was thinking about this today. In my head earlier, I told myself Bills, but now I want to take the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs. I trust... Why am I taking the Chiefs? I trust Patrick Mahomes. I trust Andy Reid. And they got playmakers. They have more playmakers, I think, than the Bills do. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Okay, so what about this? So this Rams-Cardinals game, we both got it on right now. Looks like the Rams are about to make it 14. I mean, let's assume the Rams win in this case. What do you think about them? What would you put the spread at, and then who are you picking to win that game? And then we'll do the same for the Cardinals.
You're saying, so if the Rams win, if the Rams win, I would have Tampa Bay, games in Tampa Bay. I would say Tampa Bay minus 4.5. It feels like a good number, right? And I would take Tampa Bay in that case, both spread-wise and...
Yeah. Okay, I feel I'll stick with your 4.5, and I'll take Tampa Bay as well.
Yeah.
In that game.
Now, if Arizona somehow comes back and wins this game, because they've looked like they're not even on the field tonight, but if they come back and win this game, then I think the spread in Tampa Bay would be 7. Honestly, I think it would be Tampa Bay minus 7. And
I'm gonna go. I would say minus 7.5, but yeah.
Yeah, I would take Tampa Bay to obviously win that game too, but I think the Cardinals could keep it close in that one.
No, I don't. I think Tampa Bay is gonna probably take care of business pretty well. They're the most boring team in football.
Betting against our own made-up spreads is a new low for this podcast.
That's what I said. Come for the Dominique Dafney interview. Stay for our horrible game picks.
Yeah. But, okay. Well, it's going to be fun, man. We got to wrap this up because I want to watch this game. I think it's still in the first quarter, so let's get out of here. It's not? Okay, well, let's get out of here. We've had a good discussion here. Let's get to this Dominique Dafney interview.
Hey, wait, everybody, first of all, listen, I want to say, if you're here for the Dominique Dafney interview and you've never listened to us before, stick around, listen to us. We're on weekly. Join us on this journey to the Super Bowl. We're still going to be here every week. We're going to be doing these little, usually just me and Griff, and we'd love to have you listen.
Mason. You got to meet
Who
Mason.
knows?
Stick around for when Mason comes back.
But, yes, I'm telling you guys, everybody who's listening right now, keep listening because we run a good show here. We get a nice guest once in a while, and we've got a lot of fun ahead of us with these playoffs, so everything's heating up now. But Griff, give us the whole thing about how you should review us and whatnot.
Well, actually, we're going to hit the Dominique Dafney interview first. All right, we're here with Dominique Dafney coming on, making his second appearance on the Today in Titletown Packers podcast. Thanks so much for coming on, Dom. How are you?
Doing good, man. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you so much for coming on, man. We appreciate it. So to get into this, let's just talk about yesterday. Did you watch any of the football yesterday on Sunday that was going on, the Cowboys-49ers game?
Yeah, I watched most of the game. Obviously up to the end. The way it ended was absolutely insane, but
yeah, that was crazy.
I watched a lot of it.
Yeah. Were you rooting for anyone in that game? Did you know that if the Niners won, they'd be coming to Lambeau this week?
I did know that, but at the same time, I wasn't really rooting for anybody. I was kind of just watching it just to see how it would turn out. I actually have a friend who's like a big Cowboys fan, so I was, giving it to him after the game. But
yeah,
during the game, I know some dudes on the 49ers like Charlie and George, so just was supporting them as well as just tuning in because the game was important for how this weekend would kind of pan out.
So yeah, that's George obviously with tight ends, and you guys have a pretty strong bond, right?
Yeah.
So what did you think of the ending of the game, the way that the referee had to come in, and obviously, they have to touch the ball before the Cowboys can snap it. The play call with, the quarterback draw with 14 seconds left and trying to get a spike in to get a chance for one more throw downfield at about the 30-yard line. What did you think of the whole way that ended? Did you feel like the Cowboys got screwed in some way, or do you feel like it ended fairly because, like the rules say, the referee's got to touch the ball?
I mean, it was kind of just a cluster at the end, I will say. I feel like it could have been handled better, but at the same time, like we know that that's the rule. We go over that on a weekly basis, how it's really important in those moments to make sure you hand the ball to the ref because, like you said, they have to touch it. Like that's just part of the rule. So we talk every week about how it's important to hand the ball to the ref, get set, all those things. I honestly think it was a pretty good play call to go for the QB draw. Like you don't see that coming. And Me personally, I didn't think he needed to necessarily run that far. I feel like Dak has a pretty good arm. I feel like it was a good play call. He just, I don't know, maybe he didn't need to run that far. Like just get maybe like 10, 12 yards and get down or something. But no, we definitely talk about it on like every week about how it's important to hand the ball to the ref so something like that doesn't happen.
That's actually, I was going to ask you about the play call there because I was dumbfounded at the play call. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that with 14 seconds left, no timeouts of run play. But you're all for that? You thought that was a good play?
I mean, it was smart because you don't see it coming. Like you look at the play, all their defenders are trying to keep them in bounds. So instead of, wasting time trying to throw the ball and then have them get out of bounds and then have them try to run in, get the ball to the ref, then go out, get set. You just have your quarterback run, get the first down, get down, give the ball to the ref, and spike it, and you have enough time to either do what you got to do. So I honestly think it was a smart play call. Just as soon after the play was over, it was just like mayhem, really.
The thing is like you look at the teams that lost this weekend, and the one common theme I saw was that they're making the mental mistakes, and the number one thing too is like even in the Dallas game yesterday, the penalties were a real big deal. Like that was one of the main reasons they lost was the self-inflicted wounds. Now with you guys going into your first playoff game to really lock down on the fundamentals and stick to the rules and keep those penalties off the field.
I mean, yeah, obviously every week those are important, but like you see in the playoffs, they're much bigger because every play counts. So when you have situations like that where you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, you have a good play, and then it's kind of erased by penalty, or you're able to make a stop, and then no, it's actually a first down because of a penalty. Like it has a bigger mood swing, and it's just heightened in the fact that it's the playoffs, it's win or go home. So everything that happens is going to be more significant in these games to come. So, it's unfortunate that stuff happens like that, but it's the game, as well as just like you have to hone in on those type of things so that doesn't happen, because you want the other team to beat you. You don't want to beat yourself, and they did have a lot of chances to get stops and get off the field, and then they kept having penalties, which I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, dude, what is going on? Like, I was even getting frustrated just because it was like they had a chance to make it a game, and obviously had a turnover, and then everything kind of went their way, but then still like the penalties was just kind of killing them every chance they got.
Yeah, I mean, us Packer fans, we all know about the playoffs and the win-or-go-home aspect of it, and we've had a lot of playoff losses over the years. I don't know if you know about modern Packers history, but it's been a while since we got to that. We got to hold up that Lombardi. A lot of playoff losses since then, including last year. You were a part of that team last year when we lost in the Nfc Championship game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What was that like? Because I know as a fan base last year, I think Bron said it on a podcast, it felt like our year last year more than any other year. It again feels like that this year, but last year, I know the fan base definitely thought we were going to win it. I'm sure that you guys thought you had a good chance to win it too. What was that locker room like last year after the Nfc Championship game loss, and what does that bring to you guys this year?
Well, I feel like we were all kind of just shocked, obviously heartbroken at the way it ended, and we were kind of just in the locker room, like, you didn't really know what to do the next day, because usually we come in, get work in, but it was just like the season was over, just kind of out of nowhere. So obviously we were all shocked and disappointed, and I feel like that just, the whole thing, just the way it ended, it just left such a just sour taste in everyone's mouth. And of course everyone was there. It's just like we don't want that to happen again. Like, had the opportunity to play at home and just still couldn't get it done, and still had a chance to get it done, honestly, with not playing the best game in the first half, got it turned around in the second half, and just wasn't able to finish. I feel like just the whole thing, like, it's just not something you forget about, obviously, because it was my first playoff, and I can remember all the faces in the locker room and how I felt after the game. So it's just not something you want to live through, and honestly, it just leaves a bigger chip on your shoulder for a lot of people. And like you said, with it seeming like it was our year, and even this year, I feel like it's even more with the fact that we're coming together as an entire team, and whether that be offense and defense, as well as just some players coming back. I feel like we just have even a bigger motivation with everything that happened last year as well as the lead up to what's going to happen this weekend.
So, Dom, last time around when we talked to you, just a couple weeks before we talked to you, I said, kind of like what you said, I said this year feels like our year more than any other year. And then not long ago, just maybe a couple weeks ago this season, I said the exact same thing. And I think it was true last year, but I think it's even more true, like you said, this year. So, when we talked to you last time, you guys were in a similar position that you're in right now. Number 1 seed clinched. You're coming off the bye. You're preparing for that special run that we all are looking for. And we know how last year ended. So what do you think is different with the team this time around? The locker room, the mindset, the roster as a whole, individually, as a group, all of the above. Just what do you think is different this time around?
I feel like we're just all locked in. I feel like just how bad we want to win a championship and how bad everybody wants to hold up that trophy. You remember people celebrating on your field last year, and that just doesn't sit right with you. And I feel like everything is just it's just heightened a little bit this year because just how bad we won and everything we had to go through last year and this year. And then just how we've come together as a team, and then just some of the things that some of the leaders of our team has said this year, just trying to hone in, how bad you want it, realize how bad you want it, use that momentum as we go through these couple weeks, trying to make a run.
We've developed a nickname for you on this podcast. I'm not sure if you've heard it. We're calling you Do It All Daphne. You do it all. You do everything, right? Being in Green Bay now for a full year, how have you settled into your role, not only on the field but off the field? Because like I said, you're blocking, you're catching passes when needed. You are doing it all. So as a player on and off the field, how have you carved a role for yourself, established yourself, settled in Green Bay on this football team?
Just important for me to know my role as well as to just accept it, as well as just hone in on it. Every chance you get to be out there, just make sure that your guy that you're blocking doesn't make the tackle, or make sure you're running the best route, or honestly just trying to accept my role and do what I can to help our team win. Like a lot of people say, you don't have to do more than you can. You don't have to do more than you're asked to. Just do your role, own your role, and accept it, and do it at 110%. And honestly, this is probably the most excited I've ever been to play a football game, because I just, with the year that I've had with injuries and everything, which is weird for me because I have never really been injured before. So having to deal with everything, I'm just really excited to play football, because there's a lot of football I've missed this season, and we're getting in the playoffs, and that's so important, and I want this championship as bad as ever. So I'm just absolutely ready to play, and whatever they ask me to do, I know I'm gonna get down and do it.
That's great, man. We're hoping for that championship too. So you look around the NFL, there's a lot of teams where they have their identified superstars, like the Cowboys. You've got Zeke, you got CeeDee Lamb, Dak, obviously. The Packers, they're a bit different because you've got Devontae, you got Rodgers, but outside of that, it's really, there's a lot of role players who know their role, and it's kind of like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts situation. So including yourself, how hard is it, do you think, for some of these guys to identify their roles? And it's something that Coach LaFleur and Rodgers talk about all the time, how admirable it is for you to just accept your role. Is that difficult week in and week out, just being able to contribute only what you're asked to do?
When it comes to that, you just you realize that it is the ultimate team sport, and obviously people are going to have roles in this. Obviously people are going to have, you have your games where you have the unexpected, have a really good game, but then you also have, you said, your superstars who are just constantly doing what they do. And that's honestly what's so great about this team, is the fact that 12 and 17 are going to do their thing. Kenny is going to do his thing. Dre is going to do his thing. Ja maybe coming back. Rasul's been a great piece. Those guys are going to come with it. It's just the fact that you also don't know who else is going to have a great game this game, because it could be anybody. It could be Lazard, could be Josiah, could be AJ, could be anybody. Anybody's a weapon. So you kind of have to, you can't just, obviously it's hard enough to just game plan for 12 and 17, but you also have to be cognizant of everybody else, because not only are those two a problem, but there's also other guys on this team who, when asked and when called upon, they're going to make plays whenever it's needed.
Dom, how has the tight end room persevered through the loss of a guy like Robert Tonyan, who was so valuable to you last year in the passing game? How is that room, including yourself, obviously, how have you guys stepped up to combat that loss and kind of rally around each other to make sure that there hasn't been a drop-off in what you guys are doing in the passing game as a unit? Because there really hasn't been much drop-off, even from the tight end spot. You guys are getting done what you've been doing pretty much since LaFleur got here. So tell me about what it's been like to kind of get through that loss, which is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was tough. Like when it first happened, you don't want to see that happen to anybody. You definitely don't want to see that happen to one of your guys in the room, someone like you look up to, someone you hang out with outside, work out with, talk to, just you don't want to see that happen to anybody. So the fact that it unfortunately happened was tough, and we were there for him, and in return he's been there for us. He's still in the facility getting work in, and he still pulls up to meetings every once in a while and coaches us, and he'll be out there for practice. So he definitely is still there in a sense where he is able to coach us up and give us some good advice, whether it's on or off the field, and I feel like we've leaned on Big Dog a lot, as well as just the fact that we've accepted our role and realized that our role was going to be a little bit bigger than before, and we've accepted it, and he's leaned on us as well, and we kind of just kept chugging along as a tight end room.
You literally mean pulls up when he's in that cart that he's riding around in at practice and whatnot, which is so awesome to see those videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, that thing is a little dangerous. I won't lie. It's smooth when it's on like outside, but when it's inside, the hallways are not prepared for a moving vehicle, because that thing gets up to like 15 miles an hour, which again, outside 15 miles an hour.
He's just coming through. He beeps the horn. Yeah.
In the hallway, 15 miles an hour is moving.
Yeah. In all the videos, it's like, damn, he comes out of nowhere. So the tight end room, like, that room itself has kind of been, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. If you were watching the game yesterday, I don't know if you saw, I think it was on the opening drive for the 49ers. Both Debo and Ayuk were on the sideline. They had heavy personnel in. Travis Benjamin was the number one receiver. Obviously, the whole defense is going to think run play. And it ends up being they throw to Travis Benjamin off play action for a pretty nice gain. And do you think, like, kind of your touchdown against Chicago last year, it was kind of similar where, the defense, they're worrying about Devontae Adams, best route runner on the field. They're worrying about MVS, who can run right by him. They're not worried about do-it-all Daphne running down the field. Do you think Coach LaFleur has something like that in his playbook, a tendency breaker? Because I'll be honest, every time you're on the field, especially in the low red zone, I'm hoping for a Daphne touchdown.
I mean, I can't give up too much of the playbook, obviously, but I mean, yeah, our coaches are well aware of, the tendencies that we have, and they obviously a lot of times look for tendency breakers and not to be predictable. There's guys who watch film endlessly and are looking at our tendencies when it comes to run pass and who's on the field when it's run pass. So, yeah, I mean, they know. They plan for stuff like that. We obviously don't want to be too predictable, so guys can just clog the box, put 8 in the box, or don't want to be too predictable where they know that we're about to pass. So there's always plays and formations or whatever that we do, then we'll have tendency breakers so that you're not able to just know what we're about to do.
What was your bye week schedule like, both in and out of the facility this week? Obviously, it's not like a normal regular bye week where you guys get to kind of relax because you've got a playoff game in a week, right? So what is the difference there, and what was your schedule like?
We still came in the mornings and had like meetings and practiced, just so like you said, we weren't just like sitting around. We were still getting in work, still lifting, still practicing. Just it was more of us just focusing on us and what things we can get better at as a team and as an individual versus trying to get ready for a game. And a lot of that was also with the rehab side, just trying to make sure our bodies are getting ready for this week and preparing, just trying to be able to be 100% once next Saturday comes, or this Saturday comes, and as well as just get some of those guys back and get them used to playing football and getting everybody back in the football shape the guys are about to have come back for this playoff run. So that's really what it was it was just quick workouts, quick practices, and just spend the rest of the day, focusing on your body.
So you said earlier that you've been watching film on the San Francisco 49ers, who will be playing this Saturday. What about that defense is really what's so good about that defense? They got a lot of stars. Fred Warner obviously had the injury scare in yesterday's game, but it sounds like he's going to be good to go. Same with Nick Bosa, and they've got a great D-line. What do you look for on that defense, and what is the objective there? Because they do everything so well.
I mean, yeah, they obviously have a really good front. Really athletic linebackers, and most of it is just kind of trying to do our job. That's kind of the most important part, is just making sure you do your job. Obviously, we know that they have dudes on their defense, and as long as we're able to hone in on the details and make sure that we're locked in on their defense, reading their defense, whether it's the front, the linebackers, or reading their coverage, just most importantly, just honing in on the details and making sure that we're doing everything that we can do to be firing on all cylinders, whether it's run, pass, RPO, play action, any of that. Just making sure that we have all of our weapons available.
I wanted to ask you about the Week 3 matchup that you guys had. I know you didn't play, right? But were you on the sidelines to see the way that game ended, where Rodgers and Devontae kind of took over that last 37-second drive to get us in position to win that football game?
Yeah.
So what was that like to see their connection really at its peak, making that kind of play, single-handedly doing their job to get us in position to win? What did that look like, and how much do you think that game from this season, that victory, how much does that carry over into this playoff matchup?
It's something to see, like I see it like every day, and it never gets old, honestly, and that's just who they are. Those two have a really good connection, and obviously they have records of their own, and they'll continuously break records, but just seeing those two and how they're on the same page all the time and how they somewhat speak their own language, it never gets old to see. And obviously any team is going to have to be ready for that, because it doesn't matter what the situation, like those two, the connection they have it's like on display at any time. Like it can happen at any time. So you have to be ready for it. And then as far as how much the first game, I mean, when you think about it, like it may have some carryover, but I feel like we're looking at it from a standpoint of, it's the playoffs. You can't be like nothing in the regular season really matters anymore. Obviously, the fact that the 6 seed team just beat the 3 seed, like nothing that happened in the regular season really matters anymore. Is the fact that it was what got you here, but now you have to do it again. Now you have to continuously win. And like Coach LaFleur says a lot, like nothing is going to be handed to us. It doesn't really matter that we beat them the first time, because, we're all looking for the same end goal, and that's to raise the trophy at the end of the year, be the last one to be standing. So really that's the most important thing. And just the fact that we did beat them the first time, I know they're probably going to have, some feelings about it, but at the same time, we know that it's playoff time, and that's just a different atmosphere when it comes to everything. So everything that happened before, it means little to nothing besides the fact that, we somewhat know who they are as a team and, what their schemes are and everything. But as far as like the game, you got to take the dub. No one's just going to hand anything to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally true. You really put it great there. And I want to ask you one final question. First of all, what would it mean? You touched on it a little bit, but what would it mean for you personally to win a Super Bowl with this team, with the quarterback, the receiver, all the talent that you guys have? What would it mean to win a Super Bowl? And also, are you guys going to win a Super Bowl? Please tell us that we're going to win, please.
I mean, I know what I dream about. I know what I envision, and that's definitely that, holding up that trophy. And, we talk about as a team a lot about manifestation and saying what you want and envisioning, yourself at the end holding up the Lombardi. But, like I said, you got to do the work. And I'm extremely excited to get into it tomorrow. Like we got practice started tomorrow. I got a game on Saturday, so I'm extremely ready to get this thing going.
We got 3 more wins, man. 3 more wins, and you will be immortalized forever, along with the rest of your teammates. Thank you so much for coming on, Dom. That's going to do it for this interview.
Dom, I can see it now. I can see it now, Dom. You catch the last pass of the game, and it's a touchdown. It's the game winner, and you're up on that podium holding that Super Bowl trophy as the MVP. I can see it now, Dom.
Super Bowl MVP. We're manifesting it, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate that one.
And we're back. Dominique, he's a great guy. He's really nice. It's really nice of him to come on this little tiny podcast that we have. We love Dominique. Hopefully we can get him back after he's a Super Bowl champion and he's immortalized in Packers history. He will be remembered as a member of the 53-man roster when the Packers won Super Bowl 56. That'll be awesome. And Bron, did you have something to say?
Hold on. What am I talking about? Is this like the end of the podcast or is this the beginning of the show? Like, what is this?
This is the end of the podcast.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening. The interview was a lot of fun. We love Dominique here. Obviously, our second time now with him. He's a lot of fun to talk to, so we'd love to get more guests on in the future as well. So keep listening. Like all our videos. Listen to every podcast. It helps us do things like get guys like Dominique on the show, and we've got a lot of fun stuff planned, not only for these next couple weeks, but the future as well, long term. So please continue to listen, and thanks for listening to this episode. Go Pack Go.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week, as Bron just said. You can follow this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, you will find this podcast. Subscribe on all platforms. It'll help boost the podcast, boost the numbers, and rate it 5 stars. Shoot us a DM if you enjoyed it. If you listen this far, shoot us a DM. A couple people have done that in the past couple weeks. We really appreciate it when you do that, because it's nice to know that people are listening this far in.
We will post if you say something to us, good or bad, we will post it.
We will post it, yes.
We will post it. So
yeah, if you tell us the show sucks, we're going to post it. If you tell us it's great, we're going to post it. So we keep it authentic here on Today in Titletown. So shoot us a DM if you listen this far. Thank you so much. Share it with your friends and family. And come back next week for an NFC Championship game preview. Right, Bron? There's no possibility of a loss here. It's going to be
not
a
a chance.
Preview show next week. And it's going to be great. I'm thinking of the NFC Championship game last year when we were saying we're going to be back previewing the Super Bowl next week, and then we're back, and it's hello everyone, welcome to another episode.
Hi everyone.
That's not going to happen this time.
No, it's not. We're ready.
Yeah,
we're ready.
We're ready. NFC Championship game preview coming up next week. Be here for that.
We're going to exercise our demons.
Exercising our demons. We're going to take them to the gym, get them on the pull-up bar.
Is that our new tagline for the podcast? Exercise your demons?
No, I don't think so.
Exercise your demons is the new tagline, everybody.
Okay.
Come and exercise your demons on every episode.
Oh boy. Okay. This has gone on too long. Thank you so much for listening. Go Pack Go.